vitamins and history books, psychology and a different way to look at it all. 'Cause my perspective is broken. If suffering's a way to earn your keep, I better start putting miles on my feet. But I'm so tired of wandering.
I would be 100% lying to you if I told you that I wasn't putting this video off for a really long time. I realize that it has been a while since we've done one of these one-on-one vlogs or just anything at home. I wanted to update you guys and just kind of let you know what's been going on lately. It has not been a great month. I realize that, you know, the last, I don't know how many, 5, 6 videos that you've seen have been Disney related and vacation related, and they've been a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that we had that time before I came home to the news that I got a few weeks ago. I heavily debated on whether I even wanted to do a video like this because it's personal. This is not something that I would typically share. However, when I started this channel, I started thinking about the goals that I had for myself and the resolutions that I set at the beginning of the year when we started. And one of those big goals for me was to be more vulnerable. And this is about as vulnerable as I'll be. I also put this off for a little while because I wanted to make sure that I could get through it without being really emotional. I'm probably not going to get through this video without this. So I apologize, but alright, Ashley, get through this. Before I tell you about what's going on or what has been going on, I guess I should give you a little bit of insight and background about my childhood and growing up and all that kind of thing. I'm not going to go into everything, but I'll give you the highlights of basically where this is all coming from. I don't want to air my mom's dirty laundry, if you want to call it that, but for the sake of this video, here it is. She got pregnant with me very young. When she found out she was pregnant with me, her family, more specifically her dad, my grandpa, was not thrilled. As I've learned through the years, there may have been threats that came from him towards my dad. The threats were enough to scare him away, basically. And I am by no means making excuses for him or my grandpa, but this is just how it was. The threats were enough to scare him away from ever being in my life. He bailed on my mom. He bailed on me. I didn't have a dad in my life. I never met him. I never met my dad. He never paid child support, or when he did, it was less than minimum. I don't know a ton about that. I just know that it was very, very hard for my mom, being a young single mother, growing up, raising me, and he was never there for it. He was never there for any of it. I grew up learning to live with that, and I always felt fortunate enough to have this is hard. This is really hard. I grew up loved. Despite everything, I grew up with 2 very strong women. My grandpa, who I mentioned, that wasn't thrilled about my mom's pregnancy, ended up leaving my grandma. In my house growing up, it was my grandma, my mom, and me. And I never went without. I never felt like I was missing anything until I got old enough to understand what actually happened. And I think I felt things that I didn't understand as a child, but I adapted and I lived with it. As a preteen and young adult, I think I had a lot of terrible relationships that could probably boil down to being daddy issues. But I got through it and I found a great relationship with Tim. As you know, obviously we got married and I love him. But very early on in Tim and I's relationship, I was contacted by my dad's sister, who formerly would be known as my aunt. And she reached out to me in regards to my dad. I think she really wanted for us to meet. I think she wanted to facilitate a renewal. She wanted me to be involved in his life for him. The relationship that she had with her brother was great, and I think that she wanted that for me as well. I don't think that she was malicious in any way in trying to get the two of us to meet, and I think that it would have been a great opportunity for that to happen, and I think that I was finally ready at that stage in my life to finally let that happen. I was in my late 20s whenever Tim and I started dating. I think that was a good time for me to finally meet my dad, because I had established a great relationship with Tim, and I could finally see my future, and I had some questions for him. In the conversations and messages with my aunt, I let her know that I was willing to meet my dad, but I wanted to bring my mom with me. For reasons of my own, mainly because I had never met this person, and because I wanted my mom to come with me. She was just as much a part of his history as I was. Long story short, he was in a new relationship, and he didn't want my mom to come with me whenever we met, because he thought that it was going to interfere with the new relationship that he had with this woman. My reaction to that was, then I'm not coming. Because in my eyes, he was putting somebody else before me. Again, all I ever wanted in all of this was for him to put me first one time, and he didn't. And I think at that point, I was done. I was done hoping. I was done dreaming of a relationship that was never going to happen. And that was the last time it was ever brought up. So once again, I moved on with my life as a young adult. I married Tim. We started our life together. We bought our house together in Missouri. We lived there for several years, and then we decided to move to Charleston. Fast forward to current time. We just went to Disney. You guys saw all those videos. We had a great time. We came back to Charleston, and while I was editing all of these wonderful, magical videos, I got another message from my dad's sister, my aunt. This time, it was to let me know that he had had a major stroke and that he was in the hospital. They were able to remove the blood clot, and post-surgery, he was sedated. There was no brain activity. After a few days on life support and waiting for him to wake up, the doctors concluded that he would never have any quality of life. Collectively, everyone decided that it was best to pull the plug, because there was essentially zero chance of him coming out of this. I think initially, when I first got these messages, it just didn't... I was disconnected from the entire thing, and it just didn't feel real. It was after they pulled the plug and he didn't pass right away that it really started to affect me more than I thought it would. Once they pulled the plug, he was still breathing on his own. His heart rate was normal, and he was there, but he wasn't there. I struggled a lot with this because I didn't know how I was supposed to feel. I didn't know what I was supposed to do physically. With Story and I being here in Charleston, I didn't know if we should buy plane tickets and go up there and find him at the hospital and meet him for the first and last time. The family started a GoFundMe page to support his funeral costs. He didn't have insurance. He had zero health or life insurance. He had nothing. And so, as I was looking up the cost of the flight for Story and I to fly back to Missouri and say goodbye, it was about $800 round trip through Southwest. The cheapest flights I could find, it was about $800. And I battled with this in my head for what seemed like months, and I know it was hours, but that pressure of time was right here. And I made the decision to donate the money to the GoFundMe page instead of buying tickets to go up to Missouri and say goodbye. There are so many different ways that you could look at this situation as an outsider. Just knowing our story, you could say, well, he abandoned you and you don't owe him anything. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But there's always been this part of my heart that I've lived with that wanted to meet him and just ask why. And throughout this process, I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten from people saying, he had such a big heart. I thought you guys were going to meet one day. I wish you would have known him. I wish you could have known him. And now I'm never going to have that chance to ask him why I didn't know him. Why I was never good enough. Why I was never just enough. And I'm angry. I'm angry that he doesn't have to feel that regret anymore. And now I do. Oh, shit. It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid to me that I've lived my entire life not knowing him, having zero connection to him, yet feeling so close to him when he's dying. I cannot explain that. I don't know how to explain that. But now it's something that I'm going to have to learn to live with. And pray to God that I don't pass that on to Story. The light in all of this is that I know that Story's never, ever gonna know this feeling that I have right now. Because she has the best daddy in the entire world. And he always puts her first. And he always wants to be involved in what she's doing. And she's so lucky. It's just been a rough few weeks, and I wanted to share this with you guys a while ago. But as much as I'm leaking right now, it would have been 100 times worse, you know, initially when this first happened. So I know I don't have to, but I'm gonna apologize right now just for the uploading schedule being sporadic, and I know it's only been like 1 a week or 2 videos a week, and I'm really hoping to dive back into it because we have a lot coming up in our schedules. And somebody just started cutting grass, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. But that's it. That's what's been going on. It's just been really hard for me to motivate myself to film much lately because of everything that's been going on. The emotions are heavy, and I just needed some time. And thank God for the Disney videos, because having all of that content to edit, it's been uplifting. If you haven't seen any of them, I'll link the playlist down below, but check them out. We had a lot of fun, and we're gonna have more fun coming up in December. Anyways, I'm gonna collect myself. I've started putting away Halloween stuff. I'm keeping some pumpkin things out around the house to kind of like keep fall alive, but I'm really itching to get the Christmas totes down from the attic and like get that process going, because I need some magic under this roof real bad. Coming up, we do have an update on Tim. I'm gonna be sharing some videos of him in Paris. He was able to take a quick trip to Paris, France not too long ago. He sent me some clips from that, so I'm gonna put together a video for you hopefully later this week, if not early next week. And then we've got November and Thanksgiving, and then December will be here before you know it, and we have a lot of Christmas and a lot of vacation / trip / travel content coming up. It's going to be pretty crazy and fun. So again, thank you guys for your patience and understanding during this terrible month of October. I'm ready to move on with November and move on with my life. Sorry for such a depressing video. Hopefully there won't be too many more of these ever. But I just wanted to be real with you guys and share with you, you know, what's going on. Because I love the fun videos too, but I promised myself that this channel was going to be balanced and real. And this is real. This is what's going on in my life right now. And I know I'm not the only one going through something difficult right now. And if you are going through something difficult right now, reach out to somebody. I think that's been one of the hardest parts in all of this, is being here without Tim and without family, and trying to be a good mom and take care of Story and try to shield her from some of the heavy things that are just going on around her. But this is where we are. This is deployment life. This is military life. We get through things even though we don't want to. We get through them however we can, and we move on, and we come out stronger, I think. But that's gonna do it. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you on the next one.
Yeah, I'm lost, but I'm living. Yeah.